Welcome to Speakeasily versus the 80s. Whether you love us for our bodies or for our brains, we're your favorite trash cast that resurrects the 80s schlock classics. We're stamping our red stiletto heel right through the heart of cinema and into your ear holes. Let us be the super crack in the dirty glass pipe of your soul. Let us be, tonight and every night, your cheap, hot date. And when I say cheap, I mean like really cheap. I'm Odessa Lil, manning the Speakeasily space art, gliding through the central galaxy, and pimping out the talent of my comedy life partners, Klingon Vanna White and Shecky Davis Jr.
Hello all.
Greetings and salutations.
Hey guys! Get this, we don't have any guests today.
Of course, we couldn't find any. And I'm sitting here trying to build one, but, you know, they're not going to be ready yet.
You're building us a guest?
Yes. From all the choice pots from old dead guests. I got Johnny. I got Bob Hope. I got Judy Garland. It's going to be a hodgepodge, a giant pomniculus of talent, of racist talent.
Can't we just powder Judy Garland and snort her?
You probably could. All those residual drugs in her system.
I like this. I like this plan. Yeah, okay. So we're going to have sort of a reconstituted Rat Pack. We're just going to do lines of this off of whores' asses. It's going to be great.
Yeah, get that super Johnny.
I have been that whore.
You have been that whore? What?
Yes, I have a photo somewhere of somebody snorting lines off my boobs.
Oh. Could you make that available on Speakeasily?
Well, there will be many like stars involved over boob parts. I will have to ask the snorty for permission. And of course, It was just vitamin B. It was vitamin B.
Because that's how you take your vitamins every morning, of course.
You can put one of those black bars over the forehead.
Just the forehead, not the eyes.
Just the forehead.
I remember kind of looking down. It was just like, how is she not going to have a heart attack after snorting this massive rail?
Oh, it was a woman. That's awesome. Even better.
Wow. Okay, audience, picture this. A woman snorting a big fat rail off of Klingon Vanna White's ridges. Oh no, it was your breasts. Okay, not your forehead.
Well, you know, and
awesome.
it was vitamin B. It was vitamin B.
I mean, yeah. I mean, everyone knows take your vitamins like that because it gets into your system way faster.
Yeah, and
it was vitamin B for boobs.
Vitamin boob.
I had a active childhood or young adulthood.
No, you said it right. It was a good childhood. You said it right the first time.
We know. We've seen the family photo album.
I can see you now at the park, you know, spinning around one of those things. It's like as guys and girls like sniff off your boobs as you go around and around.
Wow. A snort go round.
What?
Yeah.
Didn't you do that when you were a kid? All the rage.
Oh yeah. We don't have guests, but I think we can make this work. Just the three of us. You, I, and I.
We can make it if we try.
You and I. It didn't work. You, I, and I.
You and I.
Good try.
And I.
I and I. And you over there. But not you. I feel like you and I and you. I owe you. Since we've been, some of our older episodes have had special encore presentations on Psyched Radio, which is a internet radio station. You should all check it out, Psyched Radio. And, since we've been re-airing our older episodes, I gotta say, it's been a little Beatles mania over here.
It's annoying. Like I can't go out. I'm sitting here in my lab trying to build, a Shecky robot to go out and lure the paparazzi away. And just want to say, is anyone getting paid? Because now we're syndicated, right? So is anyone getting paid, or are you getting all the money now? Is this some weird Jerry Seinfeld, Larry David thing where you get all the money and me and Elaine get nothing? Is that what's going on now?
Pretty much.
Damn it.
No, there's no money. Who you kidding? This is pirate radio.
Promotion.
Oh, yes. If there's promotion bucks, then I'm a millionaire.
Yeah, there you go. Well, no, because I was reading on the toilet, as you do, and that's what happened. You know, Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David basically made like $1 billion, and George and Elaine and all the other people got nothing, got Nathans.
They didn't get nothing or Nathans. Come on.
Yeah, seriously, they get nothing from the syndication. It's hilarious.
Wow. Okay.
That's what was so funny, because like I'm thinking, oh damn, I bet Odessa's like not telling us anything, and she's actually not in the Central Galaxy. She's on a luxury yacht now.
I don't know.
in the bay.
Like both Odessa and I, last time I checked, we were both in the basement, but I have since barricaded a not so invisible line of boxes and tape between us. But I don't believe that Odessa Lil has left the basement.
No, I mean, we need our space. In our space, the basement of the space arc, which is where we are, gliding through the Central Galaxy. Are
you sure that's not a mannequin with like a white wig just sitting there, and she's off somewhere else in like Aspen with all this syndicated Speakeasily money?
See if it explodes. Give it some super crack.
There you go. Try to knock its head off.
Well, okay, Klingon, as long as you stay on your side, you'll be okay. Yes. All right? Don't let any of your
not so invisible line.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, I see it. I'm not gonna cross it, and you don't let all your weird little sex toys roll over that line into my zone.
Wow. That sucks.
That's what she said.
I wouldn't want to work with her. She's gonna like put all these kind of stipulations on your life.
Oh,
I know.
It's talking to her.
You're like, you stay on your side, I stay on my side.
You, I, and I.
You and you.
You and me. So I'm going to ask you a question because
them and they.
Yeah. Do you answer to them, they, I, and I?
Okay.
I do. Since we don't have a guest, I'm just going to have to interview you guys, and that's the kind of hard times we're on.
God damn it.
Okay. If you could build your own human, which body part would you start with?
Penis. I mean, the nose. I don't know.
I would start with the badonkadonk.
Thank you. See,
which end is that again?
It's the base.
The top.
It's the buttle region. Yeah, it's
badonkadonk.
It's the rear view. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, you need a solid base from whence to build on. You always start with the solid base, and then you build from there.
That's true. You don't want it falling over, being top heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like Opus from the Bloom County, from the Doonesbury cartoons, from the ass.
That was Bloom County.
Bloom County. I was right the first time.
Remember when he flossed and like he sneezed while he was flossing and his whole nose got cut through? Yeah.
Yeah, it was very scary.
I remember that. I had kind of a crush on Opus. Let's not get into that though.
I can see it.
It's like a miracle that I'm not a furry right now.
Maybe. I don't know.
Am I protesting too much?
I think so.
Okay, so Sheki's going to start with the penis, and Klingon's going to start with the rear view. I'm going to go with a solid kneecap. Gotta have
why
a kneecap?
I don't know. I'm not sure why I said that, because honestly, it would be the nose. I really like noses on people. When they don't have a nose, it's a little off-putting.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
All right.
I like noses.
Well, let us know, listeners, what body part you would start with if you were building your special dream mate, because you never know when it might come up. So go ahead and let us know on Facebook. We're Speakeasily Podcast, and the Special Peoples Group on Speakeasily and Facebook, and I'm on Instagram, Audra Wolfman. That's my stage name, though. So you guys, thank you for helping me with that thought experiment. I think we're ready to go forward and talk about today's movie.
Yay!
We watched a very special movie. Today, we delve deep into one of my favorite films from one of my favorite schlockmeister directors. It's Frank Henenlotter's 1990 masterpiece of shit, Frankenhooker. Is this gritty 80s update to the Frankenstein mythos a pomo manifestation of thoughts? I don't know.
You say a homo or a pomo?
Pomo.
A homo, okay. I was like, what kind of Greek shit are you getting into?
What, pomo, like poor man's?
Yeah, that's what I was like, what are you talking about?
Forget it, guys. Just forget it.
Well,
okay.
We need to
Just
understand.
trying to be
Postmodern.
Oh, this is.
Oh, that's what you're trying to say.
Is this
okay.
an update of
sure.
Frankenstein, or is this like a postmodern feminist manifesto? Is it both? Is it neither? Are we?
It's all of it.
It's all those things. And is any one of us like more than the sum of our total parts? I don't know.
I like to think so.
Want a date?
No.
Want a date?
Did you? So you guys like Frankenhooker?
I did.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yes.
It reminded me of my youth as well, because I remember watching it all the time. And it was great. I had a little party and invited, some guys over. So there was a little bit of super crack, and we had a potluck with more super crack. And then we watched, more Frankenhooker. It was great. And it was a double feature, Frankenhooker and Blood Diner, which is another fantastic movie.
Oh my God, we need to do that movie.
Yeah. And so, but everyone loved Frankenhooker more than Blood Diner.
Oh, interesting.
So,
okay.
Yeah, they were like, this is fun and all, but give us more Frankenhooker. And I was like, oh shit, all right.
That's really interesting because Blood Diner is kind of an homage to a Blood Feast, H.G. Lewis's Blood Feast. And then we could look at Frankenhooker as an homage to like the old James Whale Frankenstein movies, especially Bride of Frankenstein, which is such a stylish, fascinating movie when like Elsa Lancaster gets reanimated and she does all this like weird head tilt stuff. And we have Patty Mullins doing that in this movie when she becomes reanimated. So that's actually like a really cool double feature. Is that what you were thinking when you set that up? Of course. Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, how postmodern could I be with this?
Everything's an illusion to an illusion.
Sure.
UINI. So yeah, this is a trauma movie, and honestly,
I forgot it was a trauma movie, actually.
Yeah, it was too good.
Trauma movies are forever.
Oh yes, of course, but
yeah,
I feel like it was very, very good for a trauma movie.
Again, I didn't realize it. I was like, what the hell are we watching? Because I didn't, when it scrolled and it said this is a trauma movie, I was like, oh my God, it fucking is. So.
It has that wonderful trauma, opening, like just a few notes of their rude trauma song and like a skyline of, I don't know, New York or something.
I think it's New Jersey.
Oh, is it New Jersey? It's New Jersey skyline?
Yeah, I think it's New Jersey.
Well, New Jersey, very important to this movie because this movie opens with a suburban birthday party in Jersey, specifically in Hohokus, New Jersey. And it's actually it opens up with our hero Jeffrey sitting at the kitchen table doing some kind of
hero.
Our hero. Really? Is he an anti-hero?
I
don't know.
I wouldn't say hero.
I think that his girlfriend was the hero. Is the hero.
I agree too. I agree to that.
Actually, I think Zorro's the hero, honestly.
We'll get to Zorro. Real quick before we get into like the blow by blows, get it? This movie ultimately it follows the Frankenstein mythos, and we have a mad scientist who's actually just this guy that works for the electric company in Jersey. Loses his girlfriend, which we'll get to in a second, and then he becomes obsessed with rebuilding her out of the parts of other women, particularly crack hookers. I mean, crack sex workers. I mean, drug-using sex workers.
Yes.
Did you like my backpedaling just there?
I did. I thought it was
Thank
really
you.
nice.
And hilarity ensues. And this movie's from 1990. It is an 80s movie, though, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know.
They shot
They
it in
shot
the
it in
80s.
the 80s, exactly. It looks like the 80s. It feels like the 80s. So
and it
it's
smells like the 80s.
Oh, it smells.
It really
It smells
does.
like a New York sewer, and that's what we love it. So back to that party, the suburban party in New Jersey. So Jeffrey's girlfriend's father's having a birthday party. He's experimenting at the kitchen table. He's got this brain with an eyeball in it that he's.
I love how no one is completely at all like weirded out that the fact that he has a brain with an eyeball and it's moving around.
I did not get it. I thought that woman was his mother, and he was in, in the kitchen. Yeah, at first, until I met his actual real mother later on. But it was just like how matter of fact that he brought this giant container holding a brain with an eyeball inside of it, and everybody was just like, "Oh, Jeffrey."
They're used to it by now. They're like, "That's Jeffrey. What can you do?"
Yuck, yuck, yuck. No, I was not here for it. I got kind of scared.
Yeah. I'm just like, you're too close to the coleslaw with your brain there.
In this case, the ketchup, but yeah, totally.
I didn't even think about that. You're too close. Actually, I think one of my friends actually said that. He's just like, right, seriously, on the table, not washing their hands. Gross.
It was the 80s. Nobody washed their hands. I don't know if that's true.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they're totally used to it. Okay, so then the action kind of like goes outside, and we learn a lot about their characters. We learn that his girlfriend Elizabeth has a weight issue. She really likes pretzels. I know she does not.
Quote unquote.
Okay, the actress is Patty Mullins is wearing padding, but still, by like today's standards, I gotta say she looks quite normal.
She's actually a beauty standard for today. She's a large. She's not that large, but she has a really great hip to waist ratio. But she's wearing a sweatsuit of some sort or something like that. But yeah, like these days, she would be, a hot Instagram model. Or, like she is banging with her hot fat suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, her outfits were terrible though, except for at the end.
Yeah, her quote unquote fat suit. But then she's like apologizing for being quote unquote fat. That was like such a weird time to live too. I was like, when I was that age, like the worst thing that I thought that I could be was fat.
Yeah.
Or old.
And the pretzels, like I felt her about the pretzels. I wanted the pretzels.
She should have all the pretzels she wants. She should be any size she wants, and wear any kind of jumpsuit she wants. But that's kind of not the world of the 80s, a time of diet pills and aerobics, right?
Yeah, and the first time you ever heard about what was it, anorexia?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it became such a thing then.
Ugh, and bulimia, and there were so many ways to starve yourself.
And hate women.
And hate women. You're right. Yeah. Yeah, it basically is just the man stepping down on Lady Freedom, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and that's why Zorro was the hero of the story.
Don't follow yet, but we'll get there. You just like his weird Buttafuoco pants.
God, those Zuko pants.
Totally. So Jeffrey, as we know at this point, we've been shown he's a mad scientist because he's working on a brain with an eyeball in it.
And he works for the electric company.
And he's an inventor. He has invented something for Elizabeth's dad for his birthday, and it's a remote control operated lawnmower.
And hasn't he been kicked out of 3 different medical schools?
Oh yeah,
he was kicked out of 3 different medical schools.
We find out later that he says he dropped out, but who knows? Who knows what's going on there, right?
But I also want to know, where did you get that brain? I never even asked until now or thought about it.
Right?
But where do you get a brain? Was it that a human brain? Was it?
Certainly looked
Yeah,
human.
Sure.
It's the
yeah.
right size.
Sure.
But no one cares. No one. Oh, that's
Yeah,
nice.
it was just like,
Yeah. I don't know.
We get our first major dark comedy beat here when the lawnmower runs Elizabeth over, and she is just a gruesome pile of, well, as the news says later when he's watching the news, a tossed human salad.
I just love. He's like, well, don't stand in front of it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, he could have been a little more insistent about watch out, but it's more like, yeah, don't stand in front of it. Well, let's talk about actually his acting style right now.
Yeah. Okay.
This guy
that's a
is, I mean,
style.
yes, I think so. I
It's a choice.
I think it's a choice. This actor he's in a few other movies and he's still acting and everything, but he was also in a movie called Street Trash, which I really love. Highly recommended. Maybe we'll get to that one. And
He's really stretching his legs with that one, huh?
it's kind of this conversational, Rain Man-ish delivery he has. I don't know. What do you make of his style?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the movie. Like the movie he was like a Rain Man kind of type guy. And I'm like, what? He was going for an Oscar with this Street Trash movie?
No, I'm talking about the actor James Loren.
Yeah, his delivery. I don't know what's going on. A friend of mine said he was a poor man's Andrew McCarthy.
He does look like that, like an undead Andrew McCarthy. Actually,
he said he's the Wish version of Andrew McCarthy.
I ordered Andrew McCarthy, and this showed up.
Savage.
He's the what is it? He's the what do you say? He's the we have Andrew McCarthy version.
The home game. Totally. I mean, okay, doesn't sound like you guys agree with me, but I think that this kind of stylized acting is genius.
Well, of course you do. You probably had a picture of him in your bedroom.
Had? I mean, I do.
There you go. In the bunker, huh?
In the basement of the space ark. But that's on my side and not Klingon's side. I don't even know what she's got hanging up over there. It's the brain. She's got the brain hanging up over there.
She probably does.
Hot brain. We really get to see his we get a feel for his personality. Hey, well, why don't you get out of the way? Very, very Jersey, very sort of muttering to himself kind of talk. And
he talks to himself a lot in this movie.
He certainly does, because he's a mad scientist. And
as you do.
And he suffered loss.
He suffered so much loss.
Suffered a loss.
Yeah, he's obviously plunged into a deep depression after this happened to Elizabeth, and he's at home doing some kind of schematic with a drawing of a female body, and there's all these kind of weird mathematical equations, and you get the idea that this only makes sense to him. None of this, if anyone saw this, they wouldn't be able to know what was going on, but he's got, in his mind, he's got it all figured out. He's working on something. And does like to torture himself by watching the news program of when the reporting of when Elizabeth died, and where they refer to her as a tossed human salad. And then the news, in classic news style, calls it death by lawnmower, which is true.
I liked all the gore hanging everywhere.
Yes.
I was like, really? Okay.
I mean, yeah, it was just raining Elizabeth at that point, right?
Yeah. But then there's parts missing.
Exactly. They say that in the news that there are, maybe people are taking ghoulish souvenirs of some kind. They're missing things. The head is missing. And at this point, we start to get wise to maybe what Jeffrey's up to. Okay, so his mom comes in right about this time, played by the great Louise Lasser, who had
yes,
very funny.
I thought I recognized her.
Yeah,
wasn't she married to Woody Allen?
I don't know if they were married, but I think they were a couple. Ooh, we gotta fact check this.
Yeah, married 1966 to 1970. 4 years with Woody Allen.
That was enough for her. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
she got out.
I think that.
She got out a good time.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I hope she didn't have any daughters. Yeah.
Poor thing.
But she's just always had such a great comedic timing to all her roles, and she's worried about her son. She's asks him how he's doing, and he basically gives a cry for help. He gives quite a monologue about how he's disassociating from reality, and he feels like he's absolutely losing touch with morality, and he goes on and on and on. To which point there's a pause, and she's like, "Can I make you a sandwich?" Like, which is like the most Jewish mother thing I've ever heard. It's like, I can't help you, but maybe you should eat something.
Here's a sandwich.
Yeah.
Here is a sandwich.
This will be helpful.
So I just love that cameo from her.
Yeah, because we never see her again.
Pretty much. And okay, so more time alone with him. He's yeah, he's like watching the news comes on, and it's like a ghoulish guy telling the news or telling the weather, and that's Zachary, who was a famous movie host, kind of like creature
really?
features. Yeah, like pre Elvira, post Vampira. There was Zachary, so that's also another cool cameo.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
You gotta love it. This is a movie that's filled with gems.
Yeah, they called in all their favors.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing that makes this movie it's like such a rich tapestry of weirdness. It's not just the story that's weird; it's everything that's weird. Considering like the next thing he does is drill a hole in his head because he's having a cluster headache.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the things that the people at my party could not watch. They were like, "Oh my god!"
They don't like trepanation,
but they were like
trepidation about trepanation.
Yeah, but they were like, "Where's the blood?" And I'm like, "So you won't watch it, but you want blood?" Okay, I get it.
That was actually one of the criticisms of this movie, was that it was kind of a gore fest without blood.
Yeah, there really isn't any blood, hardly. Like, even when we'll get to it, but yeah, there's hardly any blood in it.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that the only time we see blood is when Elizabeth is run over by the lawnmower, and we just see blood hit a lawn gnome. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the lawn gnome, the guard gnome got it in the face.
That's right. But he's into that kind of shit, so.
He really is.
As a person who has worked on stage with blood a lot, it's just such a pain in the ass to clean up. I think they were just doing themselves a favor. If they're going to shoot the scene over and over again, it's just like, oh, okay, let's wipe off the gnome. All right, so gnome, are you ready? Get on your thing. Okay. Oh, there's still a little bit on the grass. Okay, wipe that off. Okay, now splatter.
Splatter.
Okay, did you get it? Okay, we're going to do it again. Splatter.
I mean,
and then
they could have done that with a water gun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to run around with blood and a water gun and just splurt each other.
This movie actually did have a fairly healthy budget for an independent movie at that time. So they could have afforded some blood. I mean, they ran through their budget pretty early, but it was $2.5 million.
Wow, the effects were fantastic.
Yes. They spent it all on explosives, I think.
As you do.
And mold, mold makers, artists, special effects artists. Because we see a whole lot of body parts later.
Yeah, you do.
Well, actually, maybe sooner than later, because we find out at this point in the movie that Jeffrey actually has Elizabeth's head.
Yep.
We all knew that.
In an estrogen based liquid preserver that's floating, and I love it. Every time she comes out of it, her hair is completely dry. I love it. It's fantastic. Number one. Number two, it's always boiling. And number three, of course, one of my friends is economical sound was like, wow, that's a really nice fridge. It's like a really nice freezer.
Yeah, totally. One of those big freezers you keep in your garage, which is where he keeps
like how big was that lab? My lord. And like they never said where he got any of the machinery. He must have stolen it from work.
Oh,
of course. Like that's the assumption,
we do
right?
see
The
him like,
hydraulics to get
yeah,
that bed up to the 4 stories above his garage.
yeah.
Like what you would have noticed somebody with a drill to at least drill out the bottom of the garage to like put all those hydraulics in.
It's true. You'd
And it,
think that, especially like since it looks like a very, like it's a nice, cute, small house in suburban
In a
Jersey.
suburb of New
Yeah.
Jersey. Come on.
And this
yeah,
is a great detail. How you see the little garage from the outside, but then when you go inside, it's just like exponentially larger than
It's a
it's
TARDIS.
TARDIS, exactly. And
yeah,
actually,
definitely.
yeah, Henenlotter had that written into his script. He's like, I want the inside of the garage to be 4 times as big as the outside of the garage.
That's awesome. And it's that attention to detail
Exactly.
that makes this an Oscar worthy movie.
Oh, hey, it gets the Speakeasily Oscar, hands down.
For sure.
Hands down my pants. It's I gotta say, like, Henenlotter really is one of my favorite directors. Mostly because of this movie, but also because of Basket Case.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah. And that is another just major disturbo comedy. And Brain Damage. But by the way, don't watch Brain Damage if you were at the time going through brain radiation. That is what I learned.
Oh wow.
I was like, why did I choose to watch this right now?
Well, you're kind of like seeing what the future could hold. Maybe. I don't know.
Pretty much. Little person growing in my brain, which I already have. Okay, so moving right along, he's having this like romantic dinner with Elizabeth's head, and he promises he's going to bring her back.
Aren't they eating McDonald's?
Oh, he has a pizza. He's got like
no, pizza. That's what it is. He has a pizza. That's what it was.
Yeah.
He has like a chafing dish, and he pulls out a pizza.
Exactly. So classy.
It's New Jersey.
From this point, he gets the idea that he's going to harvest some body parts to put together a body for her, because her body got shredded. He still has the head. Easy answer to this, of course, is just to like sew a bunch of parts together and make Frankensteiner.
As you do.
And he talks himself through this and talks himself to the point where he realizes that there are like women you can buy, and they're prostitutes. So
I love all of the inner dialogue where he convinces himself to do this.
Yes.
And I think that's a very interesting window into his psyche, because this is a guy who knows right from wrong. Okay? Number one, he knows right from wrong.
Yeah, he chooses wrong anyway.
Exactly.
Well, but the way he rationalizes it is, number one, these girls are already doing this stuff to themselves. Number two, he's doing it for the greater good of bringing back his love. His love is the greater good.
Yes.
And number C, he really feels that he needs to be able to do this because he is a upper mobile younger white man, and these are all trash people.
I wouldn't go that far as saying upwardly mobile. White man's correct, but not upwardly mobile.
He has a job. He lives in the suburbs with his mother. Come on.
Yeah, he's a grown man.
He's only going to the
house. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's only going to the depravity of New York City to meet these low life, people.
Yeah, you do have to go over the bridge.
Yeah.
To find these unsavory types.
I really believe in his mind, he's thinking he's doing these people a favor because they were going to die anyway.
They were, like you said, they were doing it to themselves.
His intention was just to get one.
Yes.
I guess you're right. Yeah.
No, she's definitely right.
Yeah.
And he couldn't get this one because they were all perfect.
That's right. He liked them all. Yeah. He liked all the hookers. And
then he had a super crack that he created.
He created some massive rocks because he sees on the news that there's like a crack epidemic, and he's like, okay, well, this is how I'm going to get them. Is the promise of money and crack. So
smart.
He's doing a little like body fashion show in the hotel room. Zorro, the pimp.
My favorite character,
Zorro. If I'm not mistaken, that actor had really only did 2 movies, and they were both with Henenlotter.
Yeah, I think that was his claim to fame.
Yeah.
And that was it. That's all you need to do, really.
I think he wasn't even an actor. He was just like someone knew, or someone that was like walking down the street. Like there's some crazy story with how he was found. So, I take it back. It wasn't the news he saw the thing about the crack. He was watching one of those like shock jock talk shows.
Yeah, with the woman.
Yeah,
with the black lady, and it was like Hooker was the name of her organization to help young women, and I thought that was very like, okay, this is a really good like message, really, really far deep in the anus of this movie was this message about equality and sex worker rights and stuff like that.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, I could kind of see that. So it was very revolutionary for the time.
Right, and that actress Beverly Bonner, she's been in like 3 or more Henenlotter movies as well. He loves her. He always.
I don't blame her.
Yeah. Blame him.
Not to blame her for being in his movies. He's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and so that show is supposed to look like a very
Morton Downey
Jr. Thank you. Yeah, I was Robert Downey. But yeah, remember that show from the 80s?
Oh yeah, I used to watch it all the time.
Me
it was
too.
Awesome. Pre Jerry Springer.
Right. And this guy was like way worse than Jerry Springer.
Oh my God, yes.
Very confrontational. Okay, so he learns about the whole crack thing and another 80s obsession. And what he tells himself is like they can just say no.
Yep.
He puts it on them.
Again, a very white 80s, yuppie thing to say. They could just say no,
Yeah, it's their fault.
He was he exploited. Like he was an exploiter.
Of course.
He literally was the Columbus of this movie when you think about it.
Oh wow.
Seriously, his car was like the Nina, the Pina, and the Santa Maria or the whatever. And he drives across the bridge to a new world. and he takes hostages
of the natives.
Of the natives, see? And instead of blankets, he gave them super crack.
That's right. My God, that's the next level reading of this movie. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
But he doesn't give it to them. They see that he has it, don't they? And they just take it.
Yeah,
they just take
it. He basically tries to when he finally wakes up and he says, I can't do this anymore because he realizes that he'd have to kill them all. He doesn't want to.
Well, they're all perfect.
And that's the thing. He was like, he can't choose because each one of them had different parts that were perfect, and he couldn't find one woman that was specifically perfect. So he stops. He's like, I can't do this anymore. This is not working. And then the girls are just like, give us the money. And he's like, fine. So he gives her the money. And then they find the crack. And they're like, we're going to have a party.
They go ape shit. And
wow.
Such an entertaining scene because they are just dancing and smoking crack and having a great time making out with each other. It's just...
You see the crack rocks, though. They tried to put that giant, like... baseball-sized crack rock on a stem on one of their pipes to try to smoke it, and they couldn't. It fell. I was fucking dying. I was dying when I saw that. I was like, "You girls are out of control."
That looked like a great party,
didn't it? Oh, totally.
Took me back, huh?
Fun fact. Yeah, fun fact. One of the sex workers in that room, the Asian woman, Leah Chang, she was also in Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh,
awesome.
I totally recognized her.
Yeah, like right before she blew up.
Yes. Right before then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because the other actresses in that scene were actually like they went to a strip club and picked up a bunch of women to be in the movie.
They're fantastic.
That's what I thought you said. Oh yeah, we went to Juilliard and we're doing this movie right now. And they're like, oh sure,
same diff, whatever. Yeah, I guess well, the actresses that they were trying to cast were balking at like the prolonged nudity. And so they were like, you know what, let's just go get some strippers.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah. Okay. So what happens when they take the super crack?
They explode,
Of
and it was
course.
so awesome. The
Oh, so
explosion
good.
scenes
Yeah.
were so cool.
Each one of those women had to sit for prosthetics to make molds of their faces and bodies.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's where the money
that was
went.
amazing. Yeah, in
And
with
then,
expressions that they held when they
yep.
quote unquote exploded.
Yeah, and just like having to sit there, and the girl that was on her legs when she was reaching for the door, and then
Yeah.
the other, just all of them exploding was amazing.
Oh yeah. It's and the editing of that is very good because you see it's them in the flesh and blood, and then poof, it's an exploding mannequin
Yeah,
seamlessly.
Really good.
The lack of blood, I think, makes it extra funny. They could have easily made this into a big old gore fest with entrails going every which way and whatever, but no, you have like literal like a head explodes and it's just like a mannequin's head, you know?
yeah, but I like the sparking,
Yes.
before they explode, because you can literally see them ignite, and I thought that was really kind of cool.
Have you, Klingon, have you ever taken any drugs that literally made your head explode?
Not
Just their
literally.
Kling Dong.
Yeah,
Kling
not literally, but yeah, like I don't know if I've had. Oh yes. Okay, there was the one time when I drank the wrong Gatorade backstage,
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
The wrong
and
Gatorade?
then the wrong Gatorade, and I pounded it, and then someone came back, and I will not. I will call them a they them or whatever. It was like, "Where's my Gatorade?" And I was like, "What?" Like, "Oh my, I left my Gatorade here." And I was like, "Oh, I drank it. I'm sorry. I'll go get you." And it was like there were 3 hits of ecstasy in there.
Whoa!
Whoa!
That is classic.
Whoa!
This person
I'm sure
was
they were pissed you
larger
took
than
their
me.
drugs.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And then I was just like, "Oh, well, I guess I better prepare for my night now."
I guess I better prepare.
So you put on some shoegazer music and rolled around on the ground, touched people.
I was at a club working.
Oh no.
Oh,
And it was just like, "Oh,
sucks.
well, this is over." And it would just turned into me being super high, like getting basically having other people take me for little walks around the club, like, like you walk, to enrich my life.
Wow.
You never loved Gatorade more than you did that night.
I didn't know if I should have paid them back for it, or
Oh no.
never did. But it was just like, because it was on it, I was just like, what idiot just leaves it? Like there was 2 bottles of Gatorade, and I was just like putting my makeup on, and I just like drank one of them, and I was just like, holy, wait, I'm so glad that I found out though. Like they didn't just
Hell
give me
yeah.
the other Gatorade, and then I would just been like, half an hour later, why am I so high, and what happened? Like it was
Yeah.
immediate. Like I was still sober-ish, and the person came back and was like, "Oh, where's my bottle of Gatorade?"
Uh-oh.
And it was like, "Oh, I guess I drank it." And then from there, yeah. So not literally exploding head, but
Oh, that's close enough. I knew you
Yeah,
were
when you're
gonna
not
have a
yeah.
story. I knew you were gonna
yeah.
have
Oh
a
my
story.
god.
I mean, when you're not expecting it, and then you're on a magic carpet ride, it's like, wow, okay.
I would
That must have been a
I
really
was
long night.
Oh my god. I ended up getting a ride home from somebody that is now in jail for murder.
Whoa.
Yeah,
What the fuck?
but not murder from,
Yikes.
like a yeah. It was That's a whole other story.
Okay, yeah, we probably can't
Yikes.
get into that here.
Some more,
Yeah.
some more Frankenhooker stuff, huh?
It's just too depressing. So let's just say, they were a perfect gentleman that night. Let's just say that, or kind of pseudo perfect. As perfect as you could be driving the highest girl you've ever seen home.
Wow.
Excellent. A
Very
plus.
adventurous with substances, but never take that much knowingly.
No, yeah, it's a remarkable that your head did not literally explode.
Well, it was full of electrolytes too.
Oh yeah, staying hydrated. Uh, so this is such a funny scene with all the body parts exploding, but I think the punchline, or like what made me laugh the loudest out loud, was when that one woman's head blows off and hits Zorro. Like Zorro comes running into the room because he wants to know where his bitches are. And that head just goes careening right into his head and knocks him out.
Yeah, the head, his bottom bitch, her head goes flying into his and knocks him out. And I thought that was great. But the other part that made me laugh was when he starts gathering up the body parts, because of course he's going to make the best out of it.
Jeffrey.
There's the knife, and her disembodied arm is sticking out of the side of the chair, and he basically has to pull the hand out and put it in the bag
with the knife. Yeah.
With the knife. And then him throwing all the bags of the bodies off the ledge and off the fire escape. I'm like, come on,
Well, you can't carry all that down the stairs. It's too heavy. Yeah. There's too many body parts. He's got like 3 trash bags full of body parts.
It was so silly. Just so silly.
So he takes all the parts back home, and when his car pulls into the driveway, the trunk is open because you can't close it all the way, and there's just like hands and legs hanging out.
It's so weird. It's like, okay. See, at that point, that's when I tapped out of the movie, because I was like, you know what? I can follow everything, but if you're going to drive home with body parts out and no one stops you, but then I realized he's a white man, so...
maybe he believed that
there you go.
People just thought that it was just so outrageous that it couldn't be true.
Yeah, it was the 80s, so
it's the 80s.
And like the punk rock club, and where the bathroom where he meets Zorro for the first time to get the ladies, and they're having sex in the bathroom, and that big bear guy is like talking to Zorro, and he's trying to get drugs. Yeah. And then he gives Zorro gives him the drugs. He's like, thank you. And he walks off. I was like, okay, this is such a weird, like, the New York is just weird, I guess.
It's just like, you get the idea that everything that's happening in the background in these scenes, that is stuff that like Henenlotter saw in New York.
Yeah.
It didn't seem that outrageous to me for New York.
Right?
Look, she's like, this is Sunday.
Exactly. Okay, so he's back in the garage, and he's sorting through all the body parts, and which part goes with which, and he's soldering the parts together. He like literally has a soldering. What do you call those? Soldering
gun.
Soldering gun.
Yeah, soldering gun.
As you
do. Yeah, and I like it when he's sorting through the breasts. And he's like, he's like, this is too mutton, Jeff.
Yeah, just a giant tray of titties. I was like, okay.
Totally. We get to the part that Klingon brought up before. He gets the body all together, and then it's time for some lightning to hit. And so the hydraulics bring up the body upward through the roof of the garage and up towards the lightning, just similar to in the Frankenstein, movies we've all seen. And Frankenhooker is born. She becomes reanimate. And what do we think when she is unveiled? What do you guys think? Do you like her look?
She's skinny.
Yes, that's not because she's got other people's body parts.
Her initial hoe programming is so strong that she immediately wants a date.
Right.
I love it.
It's like immediately she's like, want a date?
Yeah, her hoe programming is just too strong.
Her delivery and her everything, from then on, like, she's just a genius.
Yeah.
She's just a genius.
comic genius. Physical comedy is just so on point.
Amazing.
Everything she does with her face, her body. She said, she's doing the Elsa Lancaster Bride of Frankenstein thing of like looking all over the place with the jerky head and everything. But when she takes off down the street, it's total Frankenstein walk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like suddenly she has like these creepers on or something, like these massive.
Everyone in the room was like, "Those shoes are amazing," and I'm like, "Yes, they are."
They are. And I want to say it's a dream of mine to one day do Frankenhooker cosplay.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah. It would be a lot of fucking work though. All the makeup. Your one forearm needs to be black.
Yep, you need nails and you have to see if you want to do pre head knockoff or post head knockoff.
Right.
Cosplay too.
Right. True. Well, the bolts or the sewing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So we'll get to that part. She goes. She takes the subway into New York City, freaking everybody out on the subway. And
that whole scene was amazing. Seriously, her walking, everyone freaking out from her point of view, and then she turns around and her facial movements and just the way she's like jerking around, and everyone's like, "Huh?" And then she goes in front of that kid, and that kid is like, he was about to risk it all. He was about to risk it all for that. He was like, "Whoa!"
It was like the epitome of confused boner.
Yep. Yes. Definitely. Yes.
Okay. So the first John she meets is this actor David Lippman, who you might remember from the Miracle Whip commercials of the 80s. That little bald guy.
He was adorable.
Yeah.
He was adorable.
He has found his goddess. This is like his kink immediately. He's just like, yes, please take me. Very funny. Obviously, with her conductivity of electricity, she makes him explode.
And he loves it. That little head. Oh, wow.
That was wonderful.
He was so adorable. I was like, he was feeling it. Like, he was into it the whole time. He was just like, everything that she was doing to him and like everything. And then he like exploded. And like his explosion was really cool too.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Like, she gets an Oscar. Jeffrey also gets an Oscar for just being weird, and this guy gets a special award, I think.
Yeah, he really sold it.
Yeah, wonderful cameo. So Jeffrey quickly realizes that like the memory is inherent in all the pieces, like that the sex worker memory has like taken her back to New York to do some biz. And so this is one of my favorite parts. Like, he's asking all these people, like, have you seen a huge purple lady? Undead. She's purple. And he comes across this like end of the world preacher, the Babylon preacher, and he's like reading Revelations about Babylon. And
missing teeth.
Yeah, it just syncs right up with the description because Jeffrey's like, yeah, her.
He's in the club.
Yeah. So that guy gets him into the club. What's the name of the club? It's like Huevos Grande or something like that.
Yeah, Huevos sound like big nuts or something, if I remember correctly.
Big eggs.
Spanish.
Big eggs. And then the scene in the bar is really interesting because you have like all kinds of things happening there, all kinds of people. We got Spike, the woman bartender behind the bar, who's this, I can't remember her name, tough lady character actress. There's like a trans person there that's like, look at Miss Thing, and we got
in a maid's costume, no less.
Yes, but with like the body hair visible everywhere.
Yeah.
And
there's the Puerto Rican guy who's talking to Zorro, but he's kind of gayish but not gayish, and he's telling him about Zorro's telling him about how his girl all his girls exploded, now he needs to get more girls, and it's just a very interesting like I don't know about that club. That club was kind of scary, but
But like, just another night in New York.
yeah, yeah. And then she comes in, and because this is her old stomping ground, she comes in, and then the Puerto Rican guy like is all about her, and I'm like, that's great. Like, I love how these people are totally down, to have sex with anybody. Like, I love that about this movie is they are just like looks don't matter.
Or
like,
they
they're just
do.
like,
It's the oddity that attracts them.
you think it's the oddity? Oh, okay.
Because
Okay.
like just like with the David Lippman character when he's like, "Yes, this. You are my goddess." This one,
Yeah,
Like,
this is what I want.
it seems
Yeah.
to be true for the Puerto Rican dude as well. She's very striking.
Yeah, yeah, but then he like gets under the table and performs, and he gets literally electrocuted to death, which I thought was hilarious.
Of course.
Like literally he starts floating. He's floating underneath the table while he's getting electrocuted. It was hilarious. I was like, wow.
His legs dangling.
Yes. And then that's when, Zorro's like, "This you're my bitch, you're mine. That's my arm. Where'd you get this arm from?" Blah blah blah.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like putting it together in his mind somehow.
See? Best character.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Zorro. Okay, let's give Zorro an award as well. He gets to have like the pimp award or something.
The pimp award.
Yeah.
There you go.
The supporting pimp award.
Yes, supporting
There you go.
pimp of 1990. So they tussle and her head kind of snaps back
He
off.
punches it off.
Oh, he punches her. Okay.
Yeah, he punches her and her head goes flying back, and there's a huge explosion. That's what knocks everyone out.
Yeah.
And then starts to fire, and everyone freaks out. And then the cross-dressing maid is like, everyone starts running.
They're like, oh shit, get out. Yeah.
Yep. Jeffrey grabs her and throws her, into the car, and like is trying to keep her head closed the whole time as her head keeps falling back.
Like a
hilarious.
Pez dispenser.
Yes.
Yes, like a Pez dispenser.
That's
It
what I was
silly.
just gonna say. Oh my god.
It was so silly, and I'm like, okay, sure.
Okay, so they're back in the garage in Jersey, and he bolts her head back on and revives her, and she realizes what has happened. It is Elizabeth's consciousness now that is taken over, and she's just like, "How could you have done this to me? Who, what's all these body parts?" Yeah, of course.
She's just like, "This is not my body." She's like,
Yeah.
"This is not my body." Like, she realizes that her body that she was perfectly happy with, even though, like, she was kind of trying to conform to, society standards of beauty, but she seemed to be perfectly happy with herself. Before she was run over with a lawnmower,
Yeah.
and then she's pretty upset that her body is gone, and it's something else.
Well, I would be upset too. She got bowled over by a lawnmower. I don't know. I think she was at some point. I thought she was kind of okay with it, but in the long term, she was like, no, because I think she was just like, I don't know if I want to live like this, and you didn't give me a choice. So
I think she's offended. She's offended.
You think so?
Yeah, she's offended.
Okay.
It's basically saying like your other body. Well, it's his fault.
I didn't
He
like your
invented
body.
that Yeah, I didn't like your body, and these are better body parts. And he's
no, he did. He never said he didn't like her body.
but
He never did. He was the one that was saying, huh?
He replaced it.
Yeah, he had to in order to bring her back to life. There was nothing he said. There was nothing else. I couldn't save anything else.
You look at you.
Trust me, if he could
Sticking up for the men.
Oh, come on. This was a
I never quite believed him.
Yeah.
You never quite believed him?
Well, let's go back to the
like her body was so messed up that he couldn't put it back together.
Remember, there was nothing for a salad.
Yeah, it was a tossed salad. He invented the lawnmower, though, so it's kind of his fault.
Oh, come on! He told her, "Don't stand in front of it."
Yeah, you maybe don't stand in front of it.
He created a very, very dangerous, appliance.
He did.
Oh my god.
Okay, well, let's take this thing home, man. Okay, so Zorro comes into the garage.
He tracks him.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so crazy. Like they're having this conversation about the ethics of bringing her back and all this other stuff, and Zoro kind of just comes in and literally with the machete chops his damn head off. I was like, wow.
Yeah,
I was like, God damn.
wow. Where do we go from here?
Yeah, right? What a way to end a movie. Like, da-da-da-da-da-da.
Your head's gone.
The end. But no, that is not the end in Frankenhooker.
No. Because we get some really fantastic animatronic, body parts who come out of the giant industrial freezer. And that was so weird because I guess the lightning struck the body part freezer that had all the other body parts, and they had melded together into weird amalgamations of the other body parts. So there were like breasts with mouths and arms and heads upside down. It was kind of like the Thing from like John Carpenter's.
Very much like that.
Yeah.
Very basket case.
Yes, very basket case too. I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
And it was great though because they're like he's and I guess and it was funny. The reason why they jumped out was because he starts dangling that crack around. He's like, I know you're in there, and I know you want that crack. And all the girls are like, give me the crack. And they come out, and they basically beat his ass. And they bring him, they literally drag him into the freezer. And then it was great. The one opens up, and that hand comes out and reaches for the crack and brings it in. And you hear it. Anybody got a stem? And I was like, oh, damn. Anybody got a stem? Oh, fuck. I was like, wow. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's like cosmic justice right there.
Yeah, it really is.
You treat women like objects, they'll treat you like a fucking object,
And they did.
And he got it. And this happens again. We get a different version of that lesson when the next scene is that Jeffrey wakes up from post surgery, and he himself suddenly has a female body made of various body parts.
Yes, because the fluid, the body fluid preserver is an estrogen base, so he can only preserve women.
That's right.
So, and he took really good notes.
Yes, Elizabeth followed his notes. That's how she did the surgery.
And then brought him back, brought him back as in a female body with his head attached to it. And he's like, what have you done to me? Very, very Jerry Seinfeld, what have you done to me? Elizabeth, And she's like, now we can live forever together.
Yeah, we'll both be together.
And I think that was perfect. I'm like, hey, what's good for the goose is great for the gander. Yeah,
that's the moral of the story, right? It's like, treat women with respect. That's what I came away with. I don't know. What about you guys?
I came away with love endures all.
Aw. What about you, Klingon?
I came away with he could have made another serum if he wanted to, but he only wanted to make lady people. And so, since he only had the lady serum around, he got to be a lady.
A little
pretty much
in there. Yeah. Well, A++ on this movie.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Excellent. I'm so happy.
No, seriously.
Yes.
And it was hilarious because I show a lot of shitty movies to my friends, to test my friendships. And
that's good.
And they were very much in love with this movie. Out of the two movies we watched, they were very much like they wanted more Frankenhooker than they wanted Blood Diner. And I was like, oh, so part of me was kind of sad about that, but at the same time, it's the testament to how amazing the movie is.
It really, it is maybe just a little, I don't know, 30% more fabulous than Blood Diner, which is also just a wonderful, great cult film. But this one is, it's very special. And do you guys remember in the 80s when in the 90s when this came out on VHS? And you'd go to the store and there'd be like the box cover for it. And there's a little button you could push on the box. And it was all, want a date?
No, I never saw that.
No.
Seriously. I'm not kidding. I never saw that.
I never saw that
wow.
either.
I wonder if like someone's selling one on eBay and if it still works. Like that would
be
be
amazing.
what a collector's item, right?
Wow, I never knew that. That's fantastic.
Yes. Thank you to Troma for forming our mutant minds and giving us the high art that is Frankenhooker and so many other movies. Thank you, Henenlotter, also just making the most disgusting, gross movies on the planet.
We love you.
Thank you, Klingon. Thank you, Shecky, for being my comedy life partner.
Yes, you're welcome.
Okay, good. Thanks. Stay on your side of the basement, though.
Yeah. It's how we keep our friendship intact.
That's right.
Smart.
And thank you, listeners, for sticking with us even through our unusual schedule of shows, which is basically whenever we can get it together to post something. So,
pretty much, but yeah. And you can always, and again, if you ever get bored, you can always, put on an older one or check out our new show of old shows.
Encore presentations.
Yeah, there you go. Encore presentations.
On Psyched Radio. If you want to drop us a line, Speakeasily Podcast on Facebook, Speakeasily Special Peoples Group on Facebook. On Instagram, it's Audra Wolfman. And you can even email at speakeasily@gmail.com. And is that it? Does anyone else have anything to plug?
Nope.
I have the very many Frankenhooker listings on eBay that are available with the talking box version.
Whoa!
Awesome.
Yes, talking box version.
Talking box.
100 a mere, yeah. I was so sad at one point when talking twat was taken. .com was taken.
.com. Is talking box taken?
I don't know. Let's go check. But yeah, so there are some on eBay if anybody wants to press the button.
Do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we feel free to donate any monies towards us so we can buy that to keep in the Speakeasily
archive.
Space Arc in the basement is Space Arc. All right, everybody, stay trashy. Good night.